I'm pointing to the instrument. That's a scalar energy instrument. If you look closely, there's no moving parts. It's not a motor. The motor is the stars. This energy captures the energy from the stars. That captures sun energy. So we don't have to, per se, create the energy. The kinetic energy already exists. To demonstrate, these Tesla coils are broadcasting or pulsing scalar energy. So within the vicinity of this instrument is a scalar environment. It's not an electrical environment. And to demonstrate, if I hold a light bulb in my hand, the light bulb's not plugged in close to the instrument, the light bulb will animate, it will light up. Close to the Tesla coil, it's still scalar energy. So what am I saying? That scalar energy can illuminate light bulbs just as electricity. This is a scalar energy instrument. Okay? It behaves like a scalar energy instrument. Here, I'll give you an example. If I hold up a chopping board, a wooden board, close to the instrument, okay, the energy will pass through that wooden board. But that's not typical of an electrical instrument. This is scalar energy. At the end, we'll give everybody in the audience 15 days of free sessions.
Oh, cool.
I always give away 15 days of free sessions.
I like giveaways. Absolutely. We're live. I want to thank everybody for being here with us. I have Tom Paladino with us, and we're going to talk about some incredible technologies. It's like Tesla technology. It's called Scalar Light. Just to give you a quick background about myself, Tom. So many years ago, I got into pyramid power. I was like, this is pretty dang cool, man. Pyramids, you build them to Cheops specifications, you align in magnetic north, and they, it seems like you can put food under there, it lasts longer, the razor blades stay sharper longer. And I was doing experiments. I was making cardboard cutouts, I was having a blast, then I was getting into the bigger stuff. But what I really found fascinating was the Tesla technology. I saw a pyramid once that it looked like it had light shooting out of the top of it. And I don't know if that was scalar energy or what, but I was so fascinated with it. I started to study radionics. I don't know a whole lot about scalar light. So I'm really glad you're going to tell us about it. So ladies and gentlemen, check this out. If you haven't seen Tom's work, go to scalarlight.com and he breaks it all down. He shows you how it works. He does these really cool sessions remotely as well. But tell us about you, Tom. What's your story?
Well, first of all, thank you for the invite, and you are an expert. My goodness, you've done some experimenting, so
oh yeah,
I'm honored that you spent time with this branch of physics. I started off as a youngster when I initially read about Nikola Tesla. I was an avid reader. I would read about Tesla, and I knew Tesla was a genius and that he was on to something incredible. And later in his life, Tesla was working with scalar energy. He was no longer interested in AC electricity. And I really gleaned from his work that he was accessing the energy of the stars, the sun. Tesla was no longer, if you will, trying to create some type of motor, some type of kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is from the stars. What does that mean? It means free energy. You don't need a motor. You access the stars. That's where the power is generated. So this offers mankind the prospect of free energy, clean energy. Frankly, I don't know why the world hasn't awakened to this prospect yet.
Imagine what would happen if the world had access to free energy. What would happen to the corporations and the control structure? It would change a bit.
Oh, dramatically. Well, this is where I'm headed to. I'm a private researcher, but I've developed energy instruments. These are instruments in my laboratory that I can control that energy of spectrum, which is so important. When you're working with scalar energy, it's a different physics. It's not electricity. And with this energy, it has greater potential, much greater potential than that of electricity. So I'm saying on record that scalar energy someday will replace the electrical grid. It has to. It has to.
I wonder if our ancestors, if the ancients, had that access to those technologies, and that's why we don't see evidence of a bunch of smoke where people had to start fires in the pyramids to keep light or something like that. It seems like grids were laid out in a way that they were accessing energy. And I'm so amazed by this. So let me ask a question. I got to know, tell us more about scalar energy. Where does it originate? What is it? For the nerds out there that I took my glasses off a second ago. I'll put them back on. I need some tape in between here, but like, tell us about the details, man. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
The details are this. It's fundamental. Light energy is fundamental. What does that mean? Light is the prime mover of creation, of nature. So if you want to have a mandate, some type of control over nature, you do it through light. And that's why scalar light research is so important. We're going back to the first cause. As I mentioned, this is from the sun and the stars. I believe this energy is directly from God. Now, only God can create the stars of the universe. And to marshal all of that energy, control all of that energy in trillions upon trillions of stars throughout the universe. The key to my research is that I can access scalar energy and now I can perform work functions. I can demonstrate that this energy is no longer theoretical, it has practical application. And I've been doing that with great success with people around the world, even animals. We'll get into that. So this is not a theoretical approach. These are scalar energy instruments behind me. These are functioning instruments. I'm pointing to the instrument. That's a scalar energy instrument. If you look closely, there's no moving parts. It's not a motor. The motor is the stars. This energy captures the energy from the stars. That captures sun energy. So we don't have to per se create the energy. The kinetic energy already exists. To demonstrate, these Tesla coils are broadcasting or pulsing scalar energy. So within the vicinity of this instrument is a scalar environment. It's not an electrical environment. And to demonstrate, if I hold a light bulb in my hand, the light bulb's not plugged in close to the instrument, the light bulb will animate, it will light up. So that's free energy coming from that Tesla coil. Now, if I can do that with a light bulb, I can do that with a force field of a person. I never work with people. I work with the energy field. So what I'm about to describe is not a biological process. It's an energetic process. And the way I work with people through this instrument is through a photograph of a person. I never work in person. I work with people who have, if you will, energy fields attached to their photograph. Everybody has if you will, a force field on their photograph, just as I have a fingerprint. So if I hold up my photograph has an energy field. I literally print out photographs and place them inside this instrument as such. Now, once my photograph or anybody's photograph is inside that instrument, there is an interface with their energetic field, their force field. Now, we're not speaking about the biological person. We're speaking about the aura or their energy field. So this is Tesla technology in which we're keeping it at the level of information. My instrument is an informational instrument. I don't work at the physical level. I don't work at the biological level. Now, what's the key? If I can work with disease signatures on a photograph, now everything is intelligence, information. If I can work with the information of a disease, I can negate the information through the force field. I never touch the biological field. I never work in the biological field. So this is a new way of health, working through energy fields and then identifying, say, a microbe in the energy field and eliminating the microbe in the energy field.
Interesting. All right. So then, like, what is the difference between scalar energy and electromagnetic energy?
Scalar energy, I'm going to show a photograph, and this will resonate with you. This photograph is taken from a pyramid. This is a Tesla coil, and it was time-lapse photography, probably a minute or so, in which once that scalar wave emanates out of the pyramid, it forms a double helix. That's a scalar wave. That's not electricity. Now, when that scalar wave, that double helix breaks down, one helix will break down into electricity, the other will break down into magnetism. So when you, if you will, break down, if you compromise that scalar wave, it will convert automatically into electromagnetic energy. This is what Tesla's discovered. This is what I have discovered. When I have this instrument on, it's a scalar wave. When it leaves the vicinity of this laboratory, then it breaks down into electricity and magnetism. So I have proven that I can take a scalar wave and it will eventually decompose or break down, degrade into electricity and magnetism. Now, that should be taught in every science class around the world, but it's not because this technology is suppressed. When I say a photograph has a force field, and that this is a custom built instrument that I can access the force field, my work has never been duplicated. The governments of the world still don't understand Tesla technology. After 100 years, Tesla is still a mystery. And sadly, and again to underscore the matter, later in his life, Tesla was working with scalar energy. Well, most people don't realize that. They don't realize that there's two energies.
I'm glad you described that. I'm looking at the double helix. That image is very similar to the image that I brought up earlier. I don't know if the one that I saw is the same or not, but it did have that beam shooting out of the pyramid, and that's why I was so fascinated. It looks like DNA almost. That looks a lot like DNA.
If you look at the composition of a scalar wave, ratio and proportion identical to human DNA. So it's my contention that a scalar wave creates and maintains our DNA. In other words, DNA receives its instructions from scalar energy. All genomic forms receive their instructions from scalar energy, which stands to reason energy light is fundamental. What creates energy light? What does it create? DNA. What sustains DNA? Light energy. Light energy is at the top of creation. It's a first cause. DNA is a manifestation of light. That's how important this topic is.
I've heard of Kirlian photography. I've actually got a couple of photos of myself throughout the years where somebody used the Kirlian camera to take an image of my aura. So I know absolutely that is legit.
Yes.
And you could, what's so fascinating to me, Tom, is the ancients knew also.
Yes.
Like
yes, they did.
And they were spot on. Even if
yes, they were.
How did they know? Like, what's up with that? There's got to be a missing link there.
It had to be infused wisdom. To go back to your point, we have 7 chakras. Well, it's considered we have 7 main chakras. So this is simply a diagram. If you look at a chakra, it spins. It's a vortex of scalar energy. Why do we have 7 chakras? 7 main chakras, 7 is a perfect number. Why is medical science never admitted to a chakra? Because it's scalar energy. As soon as academia, whether the world of physics or the world of medicine, admits to a chakra, then you're admitting to scalar energy, which is the free energy of the universe. So this is why even chakras are taboo today. Because if you admit to a chakra, then you have to say what causes a chakra. What causes a chakra is a scalar wave, which is free energy. All of these, if you will, events of the universe point to one cause, scalar energy. And unless you admit that there's another form of energy, scalar energy, which is free energy, you cannot explain this phenomenon. And it's brushed under the rug or there's an active suppression. When Tesla was demonstrating his scalar energy towers, one in Colorado Springs, one in Long Island, New York, they worked. They were free energy towers. They were wireless towers. Well, why didn't we help them? Well, the robber barons didn't want that. The robber barons do not want free energy. And that's why this subject is suppressed to this day.
A lot of very interesting technologies are either ridiculed or suppressed. So it's the way that it is. And it's neat to see people like yourself and others that are working on these, I guess you could right now call them fringe technologies, but really they're far more than that. I mean, this is, like I said, I can really see how this would have been used by the ancients, like these megalithic societies, without the need for what we consider modern electricity. But I'm still like, so if you can power a light bulb, then what kind of effect does that have on like your physical body? I've got an EMF detector, right? I've got a couple of them, and I can test where, like, I don't want to have the router close to me. I typically will turn my phone on airplane mode, or if I'm not using it and it's in my pocket, because it's constantly pinging a signal to the satellites. So, tell us about the EMF with these technologies.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, if it's scalar energy, it's not electricity, it's not magnetism. So there's no EMF radiation. This is what I like about my research. I've been working with myself for over 30 years with scalar energy. I'm very robust. I feel healthy. I'm 64 years of age. I have no medical complications. Now, I think that scalar energy has enhanced my lifestyle, has enhanced my health. And the key component is this: scalar energy is non physical, it's information, it's divine intelligence. There's no chemicals to it. So you cannot have a chemical reaction. What happens when we have electromagnetic interference? There's on our body, there's some type of chemical reaction that's adverse, some type of deleterious reaction. There's no chemicals here. So we're at a different level. We're at the level of consciousness, or what some people call divine intelligence.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, in short, you cannot have a negative side effect. How can my photograph have a negative side effect? It's a force field. We're not working at the biological level. There are no negative side effects. Now, that's what I'm really going to illustrate carefully during our conversation. I am not working with a person. I've never worked with a human being in my life. My predecessor who developed this instrument, Dr. Hieronymus, the instrument is too small. You cannot place a person inside that instrument, but you can place a million miniaturized photographs inside the instrument. So don't think in terms of brick and mortar. Don't think in terms of biology. Think in terms of information, in which, just like a computer can, if you will, assimilate millions of bits of information in a short period of time, this instrument can assimilate millions of force fields instantaneously.
Now, is this similar to a radionics machine?
Yes, it's quite similar. And many people who in the past who've developed radionics machines, that they were scalar energy instruments. You only have two choices: either scalar energy or electromagnetic energy. My predecessor, a man by the name of Hieronymus, back in the 30s and 40s, they considered these instruments radionics. But that's fallen out of favor, that term. It's still used, but I think in the parlance of today, it's scalar energy or energy instruments. Nonetheless, it really depends on what instrument you're looking at and what technique is being employed.
Right, because I remember when I first picked up a book, old book on radionics, older book, I was reading through it and it's like, yeah, if you want to make one yourself, go ahead and you get yourself a shoe box and you get yourself a couple dials and you can. So clearly that technology is, cardboard and it's your mind. Like you're adjusting things. Then you got that little plate. I think it's called what do they call it? The sample plate. Yeah, it's stick plate. And once your fingers stick a certain way, then you're like, okay, then this is the frequency. It's kind of like dowsing, I guess. But
yes.
So which is great. It's awesome. I think it's fantastic. What you're doing, though, I can see the technology behind it that you're showing me, and I'm so glad you actually gave me an example there where you put the light bulb next to it, because you can clearly see that there is an energy being emitted, and that is, I guess, that's the electromagnetic part, though. That's like the decomposed part of this wave when it leaves.
It's still scalar energy. Close to the Tesla coil, it's still scalar energy. So what am I saying? That scalar energy can illuminate light bulbs just as electricity. This is a scalar energy instrument. Okay? It behaves like a scalar energy instrument. Here, I'll give you an example. If I hold up a chopping board, a wooden board, close to the instrument, okay, the energy will pass through that wooden board. But that's not typical of an electrical instrument. This is scalar energy. What am I getting at? If I can illuminate a light bulb, I should be able to illuminate a city. All I have to do is magnify this energy 1,000-fold, 1,000,000-fold. I can illuminate a city with free energy. Now, to once again illustrate how wonderful this energy is, you don't need an infrastructure. You do not need satellites, cell phone towers. You do not need substations. You do not need wires. You don't need any type of electronic circuitry. The universe is the infrastructure. Tesla was broadcasting scalar energy throughout the world, and he never relied upon anything except the ether. That's a term that Tesla used. That's the medium of the universe. So the infrastructure of today, our expensive, dangerous infrastructure, is going to be replaced by free free and safe ether. So we're going from an expensive infrastructure that requires so much labor just to build and to maintain to a free infrastructure. I use a free infrastructure. When I work with people through their force field, I don't need satellites, I just need a photograph. This is what's been suppressed. Satellites will be obsolete. Cell phone towers will be obsolete. Wires will be obsolete.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Tom, you're rolling, man. This is amazing. So, like, for those that are listening and they're like, okay, well, that sounds really interesting. So I'll send you a photograph and then it's gonna help my energy body. And like, how does that work? So give us some more details about this quantum connection here in the ether. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Ether.
Okay. Tesla always presumed that ether was the medium, so something has to transport light. Well, he's right. Ether transports both electromagnetic light as well as scalar light. You have to have like a highway of the sky, so to speak. So ether is the medium of the universe. Now, every time I've ever worked with this instrument, whether I work with an instrument and I'm working with photographs of people or photographs of animals or plants, I never have to do anything except insert the photograph inside the instrument. I've worked with plants around the world. This is the ohia tree in Hawaii that I've been able to eradicate of a fungal blight. This is a photograph of goats in Tanzania. And regardless of where the force field is located, I simply access it through ether. Now, keep in mind what I'm saying, people. It's free energy with a free infrastructure. So in operation, it might be 1 penny on the dollar as compared to our existing energy complex. This will liberate mankind. We spend trillions upon trillions of dollars every year generating energy. Why not use free energy? And then we have to maintain it. And many times it's dangerous. Well, I've never received a shock from scalar energy. It's impossible. It does not cause any type of shock.
But it helps your chakras, though. So doesn't
Yes,
it?
it
Like,
does. Yes, it
how does it do
does.
that?
Well, I think automatically. I believe this is a divine energy. And if, let's say, this is an example of the scalar wave emanating from my coil. Now, once that scalar wave is going to interface with my photograph, it automatically balances my chakras. Now, this is the key to my work. There's no human interaction. I don't tell the instrument how to act. Yes, I give it, if you will, assistance, but the energy I don't tell how to act. In other words, I simply place my photograph of the instrument, and the instrument will automatically balance my chakras. That energy downloads into my chakras. Again, this is non-physical information. So how do you access chakras? Through a non-physical approach, through scalar energy. Again, chemicals are not used. We don't want to use chemicals. That's the old way.
This reminds me a lot about what I read about with the samples. And I also am thinking about how certain native tribes did not like their photographs taken because they felt that was taking a piece of their soul almost.
They're right. They're right.
Interesting.
When I first began the treatments and I started working through my photograph, I had deep dreams. I still have deep dreams. So it accessed my psyche. Scalar energy, I believe, is responsible for thinking. It's responsible for our conscious mind, our subconscious mind. And in so doing, within a day or two of these sessions, I had this incredible dream state that was much more pronounced when I was not on the scalar light sessions. So how is it that I can enhance my dreams with scalar energy? To me, that's quite fascinating. That scalar energy will actually, if you will, download itself into the psyche of a person.
Can you show that image again?
That
is that real?
Yeah, that's an animation.
Okay.
It's an animation. It's an animation. This is an actual time. That's an actual time-lapse photograph of a scalar wave.
Copy that.
Now, you could see it has a major groove and a minor groove, just like DNA.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard plasma works like DNA, so that would make sense.
Yes, plasma is scalar energy. And this is why when you see plasma experiments being conducted, you can change, you can manipulate sometimes DNA.
Cool.
Apparently, there have been plasma experiments that have been conducted that can change or affect DNA. So this is the new tool, people. We're no longer working at the chemical level. We're no longer working at the brick and mortar level. We're working at the level of information intelligence. And everything happens instantaneously in the level of scalar energy. It's instantaneous action. So it cannot have a chemical reaction. There is no cause and effect. Everything is an immediate cause. So what am I getting at? With scalar energy, we mandate nature. Everything begins as instructions. If you're an architect, before you build something, you have architectural plans, which are instructions. After those instructional plans, those architectural plans are perfect, then you build. But first, it starts with intelligence and then the physical manifestation.
So then the question is, how do you program it to negate versus enhance?
Mhm. I have another instrument in which I can take your question. I can take photographs of vitamins. And I have another instrument that will enhance or will, if you will, add to the force field. Again, using another instrument, I place a photograph of a vitamin side by side my photograph. Now, why do I use photographs? They're sources of light. There's no interpretation. Again, there's no human reasoning with my work. A photograph of a vitamin downloads its force field into me. This is how I receive my nutrients. I per se do not take a multivitamin. I receive the energy of nutrients, micronutrients. I receive the energy of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants.
Very, very interesting. So, like, if somebody was to want to try this out, where would they, like, what do they go to the website?
Go to the website. Anybody in the world can upload. You can email us your photograph and family members too. We will work with you for free for 15 days. We offer 15 days of free sessions on the website in order to, if you will, acclimate you. So we want this to be easy, simple for you. There it is at the top right-hand corner, 15-day free trial. You can include your pets, and I would suggest that you include your pets because that way you can really adjudicate how effective this is. So that's important for both people and animals to see if there are favorable results. And if I may, the testimonies are the way to go right now. The only way I can prove my work is through testimonies.
This is fantastic. So I really, and then your numbers up there. I was reading this as you were talking. I'm just like, wow, 15-day trial. Whoa, why not? Let's go. That's fantastic. No, this is really great. It's amazing how much stuff I remember reading about 15, 20 years ago. All the research I've done since then with ancient civilizations, and then like your research with Tesla and these just top minds over the past few hundred years, it's all starting to kind of connect. And wow, the electric universe theory, the plasma, the as above, so below. So you take religion and science, and it seems like it's all about verbiage, right? Because our ancestors that were putting this stuff in stone, and then they would show these petroglyphs or whatever, that if we could learn how to decode those properly, yeah, I mean, this is absolutely incredible. So
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you. It opens up a new universe. People, imagine the world without electricity. And look what Tesla and other inventors have done for us, Edison, Westinghouse, with electricity. Now there's an even better technology moving forward. Scalar technology. Scalar technology will have a greater impact than that of electricity.
Nice. Nice. And you work with pets, you work with also crops. You could do this on like farms and stuff too, can't you?
Yeah, many times farmers will send me photographs of livestock. Okay? We've been doing that in Tanzania with goats. Farmers will send me photographs of pigs, of cows. Whatever you can do with a person's force field, you can do with a cow. Actually, I work with I work with an elephant in Asia once. So the elephant had infection. And after a month or so, we heard back from the people in Asia, and the elephant was doing much better. So nothing can impede this energy. If I can illuminate a light bulb through a piece of a wooden board, through, if you will, a chopping board, nothing can impede this energy. It can pass through anywhere. Why? It's omnipresent. This is not a frequency. We don't have to deliver it like a vector. This is, if you will, omnipresent energy.
I like that. I like that omnipresent energy. That's cool. That'd be a nice subtitle.
Yes, it is. You have to have this different mindset. I know many people of you in the audience have an electrical background in which you're delivering current. You don't deliver anything. The ether already presents scalar energy. You just tap into it. Scalar energy floods the universe. You don't have to deliver a current. There is no frequency. It's omnipresent.
Now, can they call you too?
Yes, we have a support desk. I research all day long, but there's somebody on the support desk. Call us. We'll
Wonderful.
explain it. We want to walk people through this. Why do I give away the 15 days of free sessions? This invention is unique. My process has never been duplicated. I don't expect people to understand this process. I'm the inventor. I discovered this technology. So I discovered and I put forth this, if you will, this non-physical protocol. So I want people to feel comfortable, sign up for 15 days of free sessions. I probably after 15 days, I'll say most people are convinced it works because they feel better.
Right on, man. We could all use some of that. It's all, enjoy the ride while you're here, and hopefully you can enjoy it for quite a while, ladies and gentlemen. Scalar Light, scalarlight.com. And try out the 15-day free trial and read more about it on the website. This is really cool, Tom. I'm interested to read the comments.
Thank you. We have 3,000 testimonies on our website. So read those testimonies before you sign up, people, and you'll be convinced, I think. How can 3,000 people be wrong?
Well, thank you, Tom. Have a beautiful day and keep being the change the world needs to see.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.